Here's what you missed in the last 11 hours. You had 11 videos worth catching up on, covering everything from AI's impact on the job market and engineering productivity to the latest in Java development and solid-state battery breakthroughs. There's some fascinating stuff here about how the best companies are actually using AI, plus some hard truths about proving your value in an AI-augmented world. Let's start with perhaps the most sobering discussion of the day. Nate Jones was genuinely concerned about a crisis that's hitting tech workers at every level. Nobody knows what anyone is worth anymore in the AI era. He's not just talking about junior developers either. Jones argues that the traditional ways of proving professional value have completely broken down because AI makes generating code and projects trivially easy. He cited some pretty stark numbers: Oracle cutting 30,000 jobs, Block cutting 4,000, Amazon 16,000, Salesforce thousands more, Dell shedding 11,000 over 60,000 confirmed Q1 tech job cuts. These aren't pandemic corrections, he emphasized, but deliberate assessments of worker value in an AI world. Jones was particularly animated when discussing his 5-principle framework for navigating this new reality. First, comprehension over generation. He wants people to force themselves to understand what they produce at a fundamental level, not just vibe code projects. He cited Amazon's expensive lesson when an AI tool deleted their entire production environment, causing 13 hours of AWS downtime. Second, making explanation a class of artifact that travels with your work. Third, focusing on transactions over credentials since ChatGPT can now generate senior theses. Fourth, working in the open to make skills visible. And fifth, shipping proof of comprehension with every deliverable. He's launching something called Talent Board to help showcase AI-assisted work alongside evidence of human thinking, though he explicitly encouraged competition and alternative solutions to this universal worker problem. Speaking of how companies should actually approach AI, the AI Daily Brief host was genuinely evangelical about organizational transformation. He was citing some eye-opening research PwC found that 3/4 of AI's economic gains are captured by just 20% of companies, and these leading companies think fundamentally differently about AI. They're 2-3 times more likely to use AI for growth opportunities rather than just productivity gains. The big case study was Ramp, where 99% of employees use AI daily through their internal system called Glass. Eric Gleman from Ramp noted that most people were stuck not because the models were inadequate, but because setup was painful. Glass provides every employee a fully configured AI workspace from day one with 350+ reusable skills built by colleagues, persistent memory, and scheduled automations. The host emphasized that AI use is now a core primitive of organizational operations that cannot be outsourced. The key insight from George Sulka's A16Z piece was that institutional AI isn't just aggregating individual AI impact. It's a different set of processes entirely. Companies seeing 20% EBITDA uplift and $3 return for every $1 invested are treating AI infrastructure as strategic assets, keeping more than 70% of AI talent in-house rather than outsourcing. And here's proof of that organizational approach working. Brian Scanlan from Intercom was absolutely buzzing about their results. They've 2x their pull request throughput in just 9 months by going all in on Claude Code. What impressed me was how systematically they approached it. Brian emphasized they're treating their organization like a product with proper telemetry and measurement. They built extensive tracking using Honeycomb for skills usage and S3 for anonymized session data, giving developers personalized feedback on their Claude Code usage, including percentile rankings. Above 90% of their code is now written with Claude Code, and Brian was particularly excited about moving from 0 to 100x capability with skills that not only fix problems, but update themselves with new patterns. He demonstrated a flaky spec skill that fixes flaky tests, learns from the patterns, and finds related issues to fix. Their quality metrics are actually improving, not degrading. Time from first code to feature launch has decreased, incident rates haven't increased, and Stanford research partners analyzing their code quality found it was getting better. Brian attributes this to having more capacity for tech debt, better tooling, and AI forcing better practices. But if you're using Claude Code, you need to know about some major changes. DIY Smart Code was pretty direct about this. Claude Opus 4.7 delivers 13% more coding power and resolves 3x more production tasks, but 9 significant changes break existing prompts and workflows. The presenter was particularly emphatic about the fundamental mindset shift Anthropic recommends. Treat Claude like a capable engineer, not a pair programmer. Extended thinking with fixed token budget is completely gone, sampling parameters are gone. The tokenizer changed, resulting in 1.35 times more tokens for the same text. And there's a new effort level called X high that's now the default for coding. The golden rule from the docs that he highlighted. Show your prompt to a colleague with minimal context. If they be confused, Claude will be too. The single highest leverage tip was giving Claude a way to verify its work through tests or screenshots, something Claude can check against without you in the loop. And here's a crucial trap. 4.7 is 11 percentage points better at finding bugs, but only if you let it. Old prompts saying, only report high severity, now suppress real findings, because Claude follows filters literally. Moving to a different angle on AI productivity, Vicky Zhao was absolutely energized about leveling the playing field between junior and senior workers. Her core argument was that what matters now isn't experience level, but being good with AI or not good with AI. She was particularly passionate about promoting yourself to big boss status, treating AI as a chief of staff rather than just an assistant. This fundamental shift changes the conversations you have with AI from low-level task management to high-order strategic thinking about priorities and opportunities. She outlined a specific time allocation: 33% learning with behavioral change, 33% creating through full problem-to-solution cycles, and 33% systematizing by building workflows with emphasis points. What I found valuable was her redefinition of learning as requiring actual behavioral change, not just information consumption. She used Japan Airlines as an example of loop thinking, where each team thinks about how to best prepare the next team in the chain. The core message was moving from a get-things-done mentality to developing your own point of view on what should be done and how to do it. On a completely different note, Dan Martell was sharing his systematic approach to time management, running 100M+ businesses while training for Ironmans and maintaining family time. Martell was confident and energetic throughout, challenging the concept of work-life balance entirely. He argues balance implies work and life are opposites, but advocates for work-life integration where everything reinforces everything else. His examples were practical: going to the gym with his creative director Sam, hiking with his CEO Todd, conducting meetings on scooters. The mathematical framework he provided was interesting. Calculate your buyback rate by taking annual pay divided by 2,000, then divided by 4. Someone making $100,000 has an effective rate of $50 an hour, so their buyback rate is $12.50, meaning any task that can be outsourced for $12.50 or less is profitable. He emphasized designing your life plan before your business plan, putting big rocks in the calendar first. His identity shift concept was crucial, moving from "I'm valuable because I work hard" to "I'm valuable because I make good decisions." Clear brain plus well-designed system equals good decisions, and good decisions compound faster than hustle. Shifting to hardware, indie dev Dan was genuinely excited about local model potential while staying realistic about limitations. He extensively benchmarked Apple's new M5 Max chip against the M4 Max running Google's Gemma 4 and Alibaba's QN 3.5 models locally. Dan was clearly frustrated with API dependencies. Once again, the Claude APIs are down, and got visibly enthusiastic when demonstrating MLX performance gains. The results showed MLX variants consistently outperformed GGUF formats significantly, with MLX QN 3.5 achieving 118 tokens per second versus 60 for the GGUF version. The M5 showed 50% speed improvements over M4, staying quieter while the M4's fan ran heavily. However, critical performance degradation emerged around 16K tokens, where response times hit 30+ seconds, which Dan considered unusable. At 32K tokens, models either failed completely or provided incorrect answers after several minutes. His conclusion was that local models are excellent for micro-agent tasks, but context window limitations mean useful work stays under 816K tokens. Meanwhile, in the world of traditional programming languages, Ben Evans from GOTO was making a compelling case that Java is far from dead. Evans had a great sense of humor about Java's repeated death predictions over 30 years, while presenting data showing server-side Java workloads have roughly doubled in the last 7 years, according to New Relic's ecosystem report. He was particularly enthusiastic when discussing Java's concurrency approach with virtual threads, calling it steer, and superior to async await or reactive approaches. Evans explained Java's evolution through two key tensions: maintaining dynamism for flexibility versus pursuing integrity for security and performance. The big changes coming include value types from Project Valhalla, which he called the most fundamental change ever made to Java and JVM, more significant than generics or lambdas. These will avoid paying an identity tax for objects that are just collections of values, enabling hardware alignment and runtime optimizations. He also discussed strict initialization fixing corner cases and the vector API being key for competing with Python in AI workloads. In gaming technology, Game from Scratch's Mike was enthusiastic but realistic about Gaussian splats coming to Godot through the new GDGS plugin. Gaussian splats are essentially virtual pixels in space that can recreate 3D scenes from arrays of camera data. Mike used Olympic coverage as an example where this enables impossible zoom footage and real-time markups. He demonstrated super splat examples showing how data quality correlates directly with photo quantity. While the technology is impressive, Mike consistently cautioned about significant limitations. Massive file sizes ranging from 10 megabytes to 850 megabytes compared to potential 1 megabyte polygon equivalents, no built-in collision detection requiring manual setup, and lighting that doesn't interact with splats without custom modifications. The GDGS plugin from Recon World Lab adds an importer for Ply and other point cloud formats, but requires adding a Gaussian compositor effect in the world environment settings for proper rendering. Mike recommended Kiri Engine for creating splats using just a phone. The Electric Viking was genuinely impressed with Chinese EV innovation, reviewing the new Leapmotor D19 large SUV that comes in both electric and EREV versions. He expressed amazement at the pricing, starting at $32,000 for a vehicle comparable to a Toyota Land Cruiser in size. The EREV features the world's largest battery at 80.3 kWh and offers 400-500 km electric-only range, where the engine is completely disconnected from the wheels. He emphasized this isn't fake EV range, where the engine kicks in under load. The vehicle is 5.2 meters long with four-wheel drive and 402 horsepower combined peak power. He showed clear frustration when comparing this to German automakers like Audi, whose RS5 costs around $200,000 in Australia, but doesn't even have DC charging capability, while this Chinese vehicle offers 15-minute DC charging at a fraction of the price. The interior features were impressive: a 60-inch AR heads-up display and 17.3-inch central screen that might be the biggest in any car. Available configurations include 5, 6, and 7 seats, and it's available in over 40 countries through Leapmotor's global presence. Finally, staying with the Electric Viking, Seb Evans was skeptical, but measured about Chinese company Greater Bay Technologies claims to begin mass manufacturing solid-state batteries in 2026. GBT, backed by GAC, which manufactures AION EVs, claims to have overcome challenges with their deep eutectic-based composite solid-state electrolyte technology, which Evans mocked as potential ChatGPT-generated word salad. The company has government backing from China's National Development and Reform Commission, which Evans noted is significant. However, he identified major red flags in their specifications, particularly the energy density range of 200-6,500 Wh/kg. He was frustrated they won't specify an exact number. They claim stable 2-3C fast charging and safety performance with completely liquid-free electrolyte that passed nail penetration and thermal shock tests. Evans emphasized his uncertainty about legitimacy while acknowledging they could be first to market. But he wants concrete specifications before making judgments. He corrected misconceptions about lithium iron phosphate batteries not being inflammable, noting that while LFP batteries are safer than NMC, they can still burn. That covers the major developments from your tech feeds over the last 11 hours. The AI transformation theme was dominant today, from workforce implications to practical implementation strategies to tool updates that require immediate attention if you're using Claude Code. Worth keeping an eye on these trends as they're clearly accelerating.